It's 11 o'clock my time. It's time to start our session. My name is Dr. Michael Gizzi. I'm a certified MAXQDA trainer and a professor of criminal justice at Illinois State University in Normal, Illinois, a couple hours south of Chicago. This last spotlight session is on focus group analysis with MAXQDA 2022. What I'm going to do is start by talking about how you get focus group data into MAXQDA. We'll use some PowerPoint for a few minutes, and then we're going to just sort of take a working project, sample working project, I guess, and walk through the different analysis, some of the different analysis tools that exist in MAXQDA for focus groups. So focus groups and group interviews are a valuable tool in marketing and social research. MAXQDA has a lot of tools that permit easy analysis of this type of data. And focus group tools can be created and used for a lot of transcripts, not just traditional focus groups. The project that I'll use actually isn't a traditional focus group. Instead, it is actually a transcript of a political debate. So in MAXQDA, in order to bring a transcript into MAXQDA, you want a focus group transcript in. And you can bring a transcript in and it'll bring it in as a document. But to create a focus group transcript, you go to the import menu. And again, I'll repeat this after I finish these slides. And you select focus group transcripts. So transcripts here will take one of these documents and bring it in just as a document without auto-coding anything. The focus group transcript tool will bring in the transcript and auto-code each of the speakers as speaker codes. And that's where the real power comes. And as you can see here, MAXQDA can work with a lot of different types of transcript services. So you can literally bring in files from a variety of tools. And I know it doesn't show it there, but I'm pretty certain the latest release, oh no, right here, from VTT file, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and WebEx. So you can take a Zoom meeting transcript and bring it in. I don't know why I'd want to, but you could. Analysis on department Zoom meetings. When you have questions, please use the Q&A, and at the end of the 30 minutes, I will, when I finish my presentation, I will answer as many questions as I possibly can. And if I can't answer them, the staff at Verve will help get those answered for you. So MAXQDA can easily work with a lot of different types of transcripts. What a focus group transcript file looks like is something like this. We have the name of a speaker. The capitalization doesn't matter, and then it'll say, so this one says Blitzer parentheses mod, and that's the name that MAXQDA is going to interpret. The colon symbol distinguishes a speaker. Then Buttigieg, colon, that's a speaker. Okay. And so a file that's going to be brought in as a transcript, you want to make sure after the end of each name, there's a colon. So I actually did that if you attended the research session yesterday, in one of the testings I was doing for our project, I took a transcript of an earning call and I added colons after each name, and I brought them in as a focus group speakers because I wanted to see what it showed me. So there's a lot of usage here. When you click on import focus group transcripts, this one had with a timestamp, but it doesn't matter. You can just click it. It will detect if there's a timestamp. It will ask you if there's associated video, and if you want to include that. I generally, for what I'm doing, I say no, but you could include that as an external file. When you import a transcript, the first thing MAXQDA does is provides a preview. And so this was from a file, and you notice it was called the Des Moines January debate error. And the error means that I had intentionally created errors in that transcript. And you'll notice here, Blitzer, Phillips, Fannin Steele, they're all names of speakers. And then you have something that wasn't a name of a speaker. And this, and this. What's nice in MAXQDA is you can unselect the ones you don't want, and MAXQDA will ignore them as speakers. The text will still come in under the speaker that it was in, that was last present, but it's a new feature in MAXQDA 2022, which is really nice. Because it used to be we had to manually, I remember importing and there was an error and I would get something like that. And then I'd have to delete the document, go to the raw document, do it all over again. So why did these errors occur? Like, so I would say to you this. Look in the original transcript. So I would say to you this, colon. The software, and basically all software that kind of interprets focus group type data, read this as being the name of a speaker. So the way to, in a manual way, and the old way to do this, would be just to delete that colon or maybe change it with a dash or something. And so if I eliminated that and then brought it in, I wouldn't get that speaker. The nice part, I don't have to anymore. I can just unclick the ones I don't want. You'll also notice here, this shows me before I brought the file in how many contributions of each speaker, and it lets me color code them. And so what I did was I had 3 moderators and I color coded them all in black because they were the moderators. The color didn't matter to me. And then I gave a color to each of the speakers that was different. And that meant that each of their coded segments were going to be colored that way. And then I clicked import. And within a matter of seconds, MAXQDA then creates this document, Des Moines January debate. This wasn't from the error one. And you'll notice here, each of these speakers are individual, they're treated as sort of sub-documents. This is the document. I could activate this document, but I could also activate this speaker and this speaker if I wanted to. And then, if you look down at the code system, you'll also see they appear there again as codes. So you could activate the code here. These are the focus group speakers in the context of your code system. This is it in the context of your document system. You can have multiple focus group documents. Each one would look like this, okay? And not only did it import these, but it did this. Each speaker, this is actually, I think, one from a different one. Each speaker is coded. And in fact, that transcript came from Rev, transcription service, and gave the option of importing the audio or video. I didn't do the video import, but kept the timestamps. I thought that was interesting and useful. So with that, we're going to go into the actual file. So you can see here, this is a speaker. These are each the speakers. And if I click on the name of a speaker, I'm going to see their coded, I'm going to see their coded segments. But I want to step back from this. So, okay, so what do we do with this? What do we do with this? first thing I want to do is I want to right click on the document itself, and I want to scroll down to Visual Tools, and overviews, overviews. And these are the normal tools that are always here, but you're going to notice in this project there's an additional, so you get coded segments, variables, codes, memos. So if I want coded segments, I would see all of the coded segments in here, all of them. Okay, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go focus group speakers. So I right click, select focus group speakers. And now you're going to notice here, I am getting all of the speakers, including the moderators. This shows me how much they contributed, what percentage of the document was their contribution, how many words, how many characters tied to them. If I'm not interested in the words of the moderators, I'm just going to click activate on my 6 here. Let's see, it should work. No, now I'm going to just say only activated focus group speakers. Since these are the participants, right? You know, sometimes the questions are important to see, but the point is I can break this down this way. But there's one other thing here. You'll notice I have this open to here. Look at this. What are these? These are what we call focus group speaker variables. So in this focus group, these are like document variables, but they're document variables not for all documents, but just for the focus group speakers. So you'll notice here that I have 3, receipts in millions, age, and this one name was useful for when I was creating, doing some analysis later. So I'm going to leave this on the screen. I'm going to go to variables. Notice here, so these are my document variables. These are my code variables. These are my speaker variables. List of speaker variables, data editor, import, export, and statistics. List of speaker variables. It's just like a document variable where I just bring in and create a new variable, which immediately will actually, did it show up there? Nope, it didn't show up there until I reload that. And then I can go to data editor, which actually it's interesting. It did it twice. Whoa. Dummies right there. And so I can add in a variable just like any other document or code variable. Why do I want these? Because this can become an analysis tool later on. So if I go back here, right click, focus group speaker, now dummy will show up even though there's nothing there. You'll notice that there's zeros in here. There's a 3. I don't know why he has a 3. For the moderators, I didn't add in a missing variable, missing data variable, but I could have and should have, so that it doesn't impact the data. If I were looking at the speaker variable statistics, so I could take age. I'll take receipt in millions. Let's see what it gives us. So it breaks it down. This shows us of the speakers, but it's not giving it to us, telling us by the name. It's just the colors. So, but it's it's something that's useful there. I want to show you one other tool within this same right click, actually two, but focus, code line and document portrait. Document portrait, I've got this document activated. It's the only document I have right here. If I do a document portrait, I can see the breakdown of the color breakdown of the speakers there. But the one I really want is this. And I'm going to go back and reactivate this. Okay, I am going to, sorry about that. My do not disturb feature works fine, except for the fact that when I got a direct message from a user in here, it popped up a sound. So I've got these activated. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say code line. I don't need to aggravate the first level for this, and I don't have a weight filter, but I'm just going to click OK. Uh-oh. You're not seeing it, but I'm getting a little bit of spinning rainbow. There we go. And what you're going to see here is a breakdown of when each participant spoke. So you've got the three moderators here, and you can see they're in between all of these, right? And you can see who did the bulk of the questioning. But what's interesting here is it gives you a sense of seeing, visualizing the breakdown of participants. And this tool just lets me sort of how many paragraphs at a time. So there's 600 paragraphs in this, and I can see it that way, or I can get it down to something like that. I can adjust it. And you'll also notice here, it's also showing me coded segments, but that were also done. If I only wanted to see this with the activated documents, I've got these. Oh, poo. Got these activated. Right click here. Code line. No, it's not only for only for activated codes. All right. I'll admit with this, I sometimes forget I can activate the codes. If I right click this here, I can't get the code line from codes, but I can get the code line from document only for activated codes. And now I just get those speakers in terms of their participation. If I'm interested in this, I have the ability to send this to a QTT as one of my document visualizations, sort of in my, don't really have a question, just want you to see it. So now I have a visual here. And I could also add in elements here or segments, summary tables, memos, and such. QTT has a lot of power. So that's the code line. How do I retrieve contributions of speakers? So I have a couple of ways of doing this. One is, hey, I'm interested in what then Vice President Biden said during this debate. I can double click on him, his name, and now I see all of his contributions like that. I can do that. I can access this from the speaker code, or I can access this from this. It does the same thing. Hopefully that makes sense. Does the same thing. I can take his contributions, and if I wanted to, divided at 22. I could select his contributions and I could send those 22 coded segments to, we'll just put it in the same worksheet for now because it's not real. And it makes a swishing noise saying it sends it to QTT. I can open QTT and now under important segments, oh, it just gave me the one that I highlighted. That's perfect. So I could then bring that segment into a QTT to work with later. So if I was interested in this one, I take this, send it there, and now I have that. So this is a great way to bring in individual segments for later analysis. And if I select 3 of them and do the QTT, it'll bring all 3 in at the same time. Okay, enough on QTT, but a really powerful tool that we're all still getting used to and figuring out what our own best practice is with. So I can retrieve speaker contributions that way. Of course, I can also look at data here. You'll notice here there's a considerable amount of coding in these files as well. And so if I was interested in, so I'll deactivate them all. If I wanted to see Biden and I want to see Warren, and actually I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do Warren, it's my document, and I'm going to use NAFTA. And then I'm going to turn on retrieve segments, and it gives me her retrieve segments, and it should have given it to me for the NAFTA one. Yeah, I still fiddle with that sometimes. Let's see how we activate speakers by variable. Now, this is a different usage of the software. Remember, we created those variables, right? If you go to the document system, there's this third icon, which is activate by. And you'll notice activate focus group speakers by variables. So I have in here, I've added an age greater than 62. I don't have any speakers. Let's make sure I've deactivated everybody. To start. This is going to activate 3 focus group speakers. Now I have Sanders, Biden, and Warren. And thus, I can Biden, Sanders, Biden. Warren didn't speak on that. It's only going to give me those activated speakers. So I want to show you something else. One of my favorite visual tools is the Code Matrix browser. If I select Code Matrix browser in a document in a project that has focus groups, I now get, in addition to the choices of columns being documents, groups, sets, I now get focus group speakers. And I can also set it to be for activated. Actually, I'd have to redo that because I just activated the speakers. for activated focus group speakers, and I can do the same with activate codes. This tool expects you to have made your activations before you have loaded it. And if you didn't, that's okay. So say I really want economic issues here. Just cancel. Activate those three. I'm interested in these three. Code matrix browser, focus group speakers. And only when I select that does that turn on. Activated codes, activated focus group speakers. And now I get a code matrix browser showing me either it's been binarized. So I'll turn that off. I'm getting a code matrix browser of those three. I'm going to reload it. I'll do the whole thing and then say I want them all just for economics. And now I'm getting all of them, including the moderators. I have the codes that I activated here. I can turn this on or off for the structure. I can shrink, make better, can look at it visually with boxes, all the normal tools that I have, and I can send it to TT if I want. So now I have the ability to see that. Well, let's do something else. Let's just say, forget, I want all speakers, all activated codes. And now I'm getting a breakdown of all the coding that I did in this project. And again, the moderators I'm not that interested in. So I've got these here. And I can see, and in fact, one of the things I can do, if I can right click. Oh, it's not letting me remove them. Thought I could. So I'll just go like here. And now I can see the breakdown of how many, sort of who said what and how many contributions they had. So Sanders had 4 on healthcare. Double click it. Look at my retrieve segments. And I get 4 coded segments from this particular speaker on healthcare. In addition, I have the interactive quote matrix. So I've done a code matrix browser by focus groups. I click on this, and now I have all the codes, and I could see the structure if I want. So they all made a closing statement, right? So right now I'm only seeing 4 of 9 columns, 5, 6. So there's all of the speakers. I can shrink the text if I want. Now I qualitatively have for this coded statements, I have each of their contributions. This is just going to be 1 because it was a closing statement. So, and in fact, if, Warren was being criticized about being too liberal. And so the only person who spoke to that code was her. And that's what shows up. Corporate power, I get 3 speakers. And I get 2 coded segments there. Notice here, I can turn on comments on coded segments. I don't think any of these have any. I can also standardize the font so that they're all the same. Control the number of columns I see. I can search in this. Trade deals, trade negotiations. I now have a very powerful qualitative tool for analyzing. I think this is probably my favorite use. So you go from code matrix browser right to your qualitative data. It's just a real powerful tool with it. And all you have to do is, is hit that little icon right there, the interactive quote matrix from your code matrix browser. Click it and it's there. Now this you cannot bring to you cannot bring these into a QTT. And you also can't display coded segments. Okay. One coded segment. When I'm clicking in here, let's see. Nope, doesn't switch it. So if I wanted to get a segment into QTT, I would probably do this. I'd go closing statement from Sanders. Click on that. And you'll notice here's his closing statement. And then I could right click on this and send that to my QTT as a segment. So there's a lot of power here. I have time for one more tool, and this is going to be crosstab in mixed methods. So let me close this. Mixed methods. Crosstab for focus groups. This is going to then ask me, it's going to bring up a variable thing of what variables that I want. You'll notice I had a variable called name, which I found interesting because this let me create columns with the name Biden, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Sanders, Steyer, and Warren. So it was a way of easily seeing it. In some focus groups, that could be useful. Maybe it wouldn't be, it's useful here, but probably not essential. And then only activated focus group speakers, age greater than 59. Click OK. So now I'm getting the speakers, and now I'm seeing here, this is giving me all of these plus age greater than 59. I don't like that. I don't need these names here. So I'm going to just age larger or equal to 59. And I will get those responses there in terms of that variable. So it's a way of using variable information. So the idea here, and in this project, it's not necessarily particularly helpful, but it's a way of getting variable information in as a column with coded data on the side. So instead of age, I'm going to insert all variables, receipts in millions. This tells me how much money they have, right? Click that one. And then I select this. And now I'm going to see the breakdown here of their coded segments on that. And then I can click on this and it'll show me. So that is just a smattering of the tools you can use. There are other ones I believe you can use. I think complex coding queries. It's something I don't tend to use very often, but that'll work with it. The nice thing with the focus group data is that you have the ability to go beyond just normal coded documents, and you're treating these as special types of documents with their own variables, with the ability to auto code them. It's a powerful tool. There's a lot there. So that said, what do we have in the Q&A? Yeah. First question, was there a session on QTT? Yes, there was, and you can access it in the replay. I believe the product manager, Julia, did that this morning. I'll be doing a full webinar on QTT on the first Tuesday in April as well. I'm really excited about QTT now because it does so much more. If you unclick the speaker, Which speaker would MAXQDA attribute to text to the right of the colon? Oh, if you, so the earlier question was if you unclick the speaker, we were talking about, hang on, dealing with two screens. So this error here, so if this was in the speaker for, say this was Senator Sanders, and if it was Senator Sanders colon with this text, and then it says, so I would say to you this colon disappears, and it just continues this segment to be, you know what, we'll find out where it was. It continues this segment to be part of the actual speaker that it's in. So it attributes it. The text to the right of the colon stays in. This still all stays in the prior speaker until it comes to another colon. So new focus group project. I think it. I'm just gonna click transcripts. I don't remember if it had. I think it had a timestamp. This is the one that has the errors in it. I click open. So I just unclick the ones I don't want. Color code how I want. I don't really care. I'm not for this purpose. Give them all their own codes. And then click import. It's doing something and it just codes it. So if I do a search, so that one was actually in Steyr. So the text afterwards, the colon stays, okay? The colon stays, the text afterwards stays with the speaker. What other questions do we have? Anything in the chat? Nope. We have a few more minutes, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Use the Q&A there. It doesn't matter. I see them both. I encourage you, take advantage of all the resources. You will have access to all of these spotlight sessions, but you always have access to the YouTube channel, and there's so much there. And the text is coded. This is, and that, you are absolutely right, and I didn't see it. In which case, what I would do for this, I'm gonna raise this because this strikes me as something that does need to get fixed. I don't see this as positive here. So I could select this segment, and then I can drag this down to here, and then adjust it. But that's not helpful in that sense. So you're right. That colon text doesn't. So thank you. Why did it create documents for each speaker? Because that's what a focus group is. The way focus group analysis in MAXQDA works is that each speaker is sort of a sub-document. They're a sub-document and they're coded. This provides the ability to have that access to the speaker contributions, in a way that you wouldn't get normally with documents. Thank you, Victoria. We'll look into that. I didn't realize it. Because if I do that again. And this will create a second document. Yep. I don't have any other choices. Oh, all right. If I knew where this was, I could say Steyr. But I wouldn't know where that is until I actually looked at the raw document. So my solution to this would be, when you see this error, assuming it's a small number, is go to your actual raw document, find that text, and then change that so this goes to the target of Steyr. I think that'll work. Let's see. I don't know. So that one Steyr has 19, and the original has 18. So yeah, but it ended up doing it as so it's in there somewhere. I just got to find where it is. So that is one of the ways of fixing that. It's not my ideal, but it would work. You'll notice here that it's an overview for one. Focus group speakers. It's going to give the whole thing. Other questions? Now, the one tool that will not provide you with focus group specific data is the Word Explorer. It will find the coded segments, but it won't attribute it to the actually. Yeah, you can use it with focus groups, but let's get rid of this document because we've got it in there twice. So now I just have the one document, Explore Health. I can see the names of the speakers there. So you can use Word Explorer with this. And then you would have that, and you could even do coding of that, auto coding of that. So that's also another tool. Word Explorer is powerful. Last chance on questions. And use the interaction tool with several focus groups. Yes, I believe you can. If you activate them, yes, you can. You would have to activate what you want, but yeah. We have about a minute left. Any other questions? While I wait, there is a closing session by our conference manager, Hannah, and then there's actually a concert you might want to check out. So.